I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
And for the last time this year, I guess I better make sure I because that was sounding kind of ominous when I just
I was
said
about to say that sounded kind of final.
We are the CRM Playaz, and guess what? We've been doing that since then.
Someday we'll figure out. I mean, I know where it came from, but I don't know what it is.
It just, I think he was trying to do some Vegas kind of.
At some point, just to clarify for everybody who has no idea what we're talking about, you ought to play the clip so that people can see it and understand where that comes from.
Yeah, I have to find that clip. That's
from the Bellagio in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that was when we finally hit it big. We were on Vegas.
We made it in Vegas.
If you can make it there, that's all I got. I don't
know. The problem is if everything in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we left.
Thank goodness we did leave.
You're not kidding. It's the last thing I want to do is stay there.
And since we are here, and you know what, we're at the top of the show. You know what that means, right?
Yes, I do.
It is now time for the last time in 2025. It's the moment of spin.
Okay. Tin solamente un original cuta conta a work aquí. Oh, this is, Sven warned me that this was going to be a hard one, and it is. It's really hard.
You pronounced it pretty good, though.
I probably pronounced it right, but doesn't mean I know what language it is. I mean, it could be. I'm not sure. Original is like a language that adopted the English or has a way of saying it itself. I don't know. Kuta conta.
Give it a shot.
I want to say maybe Swahili.
Original
Swahili, maybe.
Well,
Well, the problem is though the front end there, tin solamente, is kind of Portuguese, Italian. It's a Romance language. And the back end is not, which makes me think it's a mix of something, like something that was populated by Europeans, but isn't necessarily a European country. So maybe it was a colonial entity at some point.
Well, give it a shot because we got a lot of show to get to.
Well, I'm not going to say. I mean, again, my first instinct is Swahili, but that tin solamente is what's killing me here. I will say. Let's start the show. I'll come back with something. I have to think about it.
No, we got to get.
No, just get going.
Just take a guess, man.
I don't want. I don't guess. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't want to be wrong on some whim.
So you said what? The Swahili?
That's just your guess at this point.
Look, Finn is giving you a
Papiamento. Oh my God,
that's a language.
Yeah, it's Philippines.
Papiamento is a language.
Yeah, it's Filipino.
I have never heard.
And I was right. It's actually it was populated by Spanish. It was Philippines were owned by Spain early on.
Papiamento is a Creole language.
Oh no, Aruba. I'm wrong.
On the Dutch Caribbean island of Aruba.
I knew it was a European populated something that wasn't European.
Wow, look at what it's a mixture of.
Portuguese. See, that's what threw me off. That's a good one. Sven, you got me on that one. That's a beauty.
It's a mixture of Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, African, and even.
That's why I was thrown because I was.
I don't even know what Arawak influences are. Is that something from the Lord of the Rings?
And you know what? I should have known it because I've been to all of those islands multiple times.
You've been to all those islands?
Yes, multiple times. That's the cruise. If you're a cruiser, you're always there. In fact, when we go there now, those are the ABC islands. When we go there now, we don't bother to get off the ship because it's pretty much the same.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Sven got you.
Yeah, he got me good, but that was a really good one.
All right. You know what'll make up for that? We've been bringing the whatever that thing is since 2009 or thereabouts. Well, that's not the only thing we're bringing. Guess what we're bringing, or shall I say, bringing back? Only get rid of that. Let's try to. I really hate StreamYard at this point. Let's try this again.
There you go.
really loud. All right. Nice pick.
I still love that line. Those speeches were beautiful. Quiet.
Lots of nice smiling people in there.
Well, that was the photographer's thing. Remember what she said to Dean Landsman? He asked
Yeah.
why she was taking so many pictures with IRL 2025, and she said, "Oh, this is the easiest conference I've ever had taking pictures." He said because everyone's smiling. That's what she said. Everyone's always smiling.
So real quick, just give since we just this is like the first official announcement. So we're back.
Okay, so this is listen. We really weren't planning on coming back originally. IRL 2025 is supposed to be one and done, but it was so well received. I mean, to a degree that, look, we were optimists, with no expectations really when it came to this thing, other than we get together and be fun. And it completely exceeded everyone's, including our expectations. Of course, we have such a low bar that isn't saying much, but at the same time, it was great. And this year we've got some plans in the works already, lots moving forward. We already sent out your first set round of invites. It's invitation only. So if you are interested, you better let us know really soon. Email me at paul-greenberg3@the56group.com or let me know directly or Brent know directly, and we'll put you on the original invites list, but it's capped at 200. So it's first come, first serve. So please try and come. I mean, it's an amazing event. And plus, if you like donuts and you like Irish whiskey, it's a really good event to come to.
Sorry, Sven, no BYOB on.
I wish we could, man, but that is just like
that was a lot of work.
We need another pandemic to do it, and I don't think.
No, we don't want to go to that length just to bring that back.
So. No.
So there it is. March. Actually, the full day is the 12th, March 12th, with an evening reception the night before on the 11th. But it's a full day of actually, this is great content. Because we have two things going on. We got the main kind of traditional format with a lot of great people speaking and like from all over the place, like literally all over the place. And of course, we have a live studio audience set up for our live streaming of the shows. So I think we'll have a little in the hot seat going on. I think a little talking headless going on. Yep. A little I think I'll do a few good minutes. Are we going to do?
I know that's the first you're hearing about it. So
I think there's going to be. Are you guys going to be doing a game on or something?
We're going to do something. Todd Harris, who's my co-host on Game On, and I are going to do something. We'll either do an episode of the show or something related, possibly even at his studio, which isn't, we don't think, too far from there. It's local. So we'll let you know, but there will be something done by me and Todd for sure.
Back at the same place it was, well, I guess technically earlier this year, at the Atlanta Tech Village. Everybody seemed, I just love that place.
I did too.
It's a nice place to do an event. It's close to a lot of different things. And as Paul said, you might want to like put your email address in a comment or something. So if people want to get to it, that's a good way to do it. It's capped. It's invite only. So it's not going to be open to everybody, but we're old and we've seen a lot of people throughout the years. So we kind of know a lot of people. Let us know if you want to come.
And then one final thing, just to make sure you understand. Of course, we'd love all vendors to sponsor it. That would be great. But if you're a vendor and a friend of ours and you're not a sponsor, but you'd like to come, you're not precluded. Not like there's a lot of other conferences you are, but not by us. You're our friend. You're our friend. We don't care. Right. So
unless you're a Patriots fan.
That was also, if you're interested, send me the email. And here the emails I think that email is probably showing up on my LinkedIn page. I'm not sure where.
No, where you put it in the
Yeah,
private
I put it
chat.
in. Oh, I put it in a private.
Put it.
I knew it went through rather quick.
I already know that one, but anyway.
Okay.
Yes, Finn, that might be maybe if things go the way they might be going, maybe in another year or two, we might be able to do something like that. By the way, we actually we have both of our guests are in the green room, so we are all set for that. Matter of fact, one of the guests is going to be speaking at IRL 2020. We can't even call him a guest at this point.
Nah, part of the crew, man.
He is, and you know what? Next year, I'm gonna make this happen because we do not have the proper intro set up for him just yet. So next year, which really isn't all that far away, next year we're gonna have real intro music because the one and only Dr. Michael Wu deserves to have intro for his monthly segment. Now I call it taking the lid off, but you.
No, you're right. We'll go with you. It's like CRM 2.0 and social CRM. I'll go with you.
Back for his last taking the lid off AI, that is taking the lid off AI. Maybe you know what we should do? We should since he's going to be speaking at IRL 26, we should hand out Kango caps to everybody who attends.
We're not original with that. When you realize Lithium did that,
I didn't say I was.
I worked at Lithium. They actually did that.
Let's ask him. Mr. Dr. Michael Wu is back. Thank you. Wait a minute. Where's the brick wall? You usually have the brick wall with you.
Another brick in the wall is
no brick wall. I think there was not a very good thing. I think my hand disappears and everything disappears. So that was
physics. We just call it physics and get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks for making it back this last time for this year. But of course, we have a whole new year ahead of us. But thanks for making it. And you actually gave us a couple of things that were on your mind, kind of. So should we just kind of go through? Yeah, well, there's a lot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, we were limited to only a few this trip. So one of them, and I'm really interested in this one because it feels like Gen AI has taken a really severe backseat to agentic AI this last year because everybody's talking about agentic AI and agents. But the one of the first bullet points you gave me is you want to talk about the most heavily disrupted industry by Gen AI, not agentic AI, Gen AI. So what's going on with that? What's the most heavily disrupted industry by Gen AI, and why?
So first of all, I think Gen AI and agentic AI are not really mutually exclusive. I think agentic AI, the core of it is still these language model and reasoning model, which are considered generative AI. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think it's more of how much autonomy and tool use do you provide to these language model and reasoning model, right? And that was what transformed these generative AI into agents that can actually use tools and therefore take actions, right? So that's what I want to clarify first. And I think when you talk about disruptions, right, certainly AI is going to be very disruptive, right? And I think a lot of people are already, we already seen in the news, right, disruptions to the creative industry, writers, musicians, and all that, right? But I think very, very often, it's kind of ironic that the most disrupted industry by these, generative AI and the agentic AI is actually the industry that created it. It's basically, software engineering. So that's a little bit ironic, but that's kind of, basically we could say that the software engineer basically engineered himself out of a job. So.
You know what? That's coming on the heels of, what was it, 2 weeks ago we did the what is CRM in 2026?
Yeah.
And Paul, do you remember this? Scott Beachuk over at Norwest Venture Partners, he actually said, and I think Larry Augustine said pretty much the same thing. that the people that are going to like do well, particularly in when it comes to creating applications for the future, they're able to do so really quickly now because they're able to use like vibe coding platforms and things like that that allow them to actually do more than the kind of the web frame building that they were doing to kind of test out use cases, to now they're actually able to build these things in like very short amount of time, like days, and get them up and running, actually testing them out. So it feels like a lot of these folks are already getting the positive end of that disruption you're talking about.
Is that actually the case? Look, so let me ask you a question related to to add to that, because ultimately, traditional software engineers, to your point, are going to be out of work because there's no need. Well, I shouldn't say that. I should say that they're going to have to redefine their work if they're smart. But at the same time, you still need a human to. I mean, let's put it this way: if I'm speaking with a humanoid robot, all right, and actually, when I say, "Can you get me I have a cup of coffee," and the robot goes off, comes back, brings me a cup of coffee, which, from my standpoint, immediately I engaged a Gen AI and an agentic AI in that one
and body
thing.
physical AI,
right, in the body of a humanoid robot.
Mm-hmm.
And they hand me the coffee and then say to me, it says to me, "Is it hot enough? I gave you a dark roast. Is that what you wanted?" That's where it's still depending on me to give it the answer that I need to give it in order to be better next time, so to speak. To me, that's in effect why you still will need people who have some software engineering skills and the like. So talk a little bit about that kind of redefinition of skills, because it's really, to me, it's really important that people don't think that I just spent 27 years in college and $2 million and I have no job. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, totally. I think that even though these computer science or software engineering, maybe the most heavily disrupted industry by these AI, right? It doesn't mean that there will be no software engineer. And I think in fact, it's a little bit. I think this whole thing is a little bit kind of ironic. If you look at it, from the time when Deep Blue, basically beat Kasparov in the game of chess, right? People are actually making the similar kind of error in their prediction, saying that, well, there's no more chess. No one's going to ever play chess, and no one can ever beat, Deep Blue, right? And because of that, because no one can, Kasparov is actually the best, and he can beat Deep Blue, right? So why would anyone watch anything? Because if there's a game where the winner is completely determined, right? There's no fun to watch, right? This is like, if someone's going to win, there's no reason, there's no entertainment at all in watching it, right? But history show that that kind of thinking is completely wrong. Basically, it turns out that more people actually play chess because they can actually not only use these software to teach them how to play chess, and even for novice, but not just for experts, but also for novice as well, right? For experts, they learn new strategy, they learn new moves and new thinking, new ways of. For novice, they just get introduced to the game more quickly than they could ever have, right? So I think I think that's the same kind of thing would happen with software engineer, right? Basically, these coding agents, right? Coding platforms like Replit, Windsurf, right? All this, you name it, Copilot and all that. So you could use them to help you automate and write code, but you could also use them to teach you how to write code. In fact, there's actually a lot of very amazing stories where I hear people say like they have never imagined they could ever write code, but because of these platforms, they were able to learn through interaction with it. They're seeing examples of it, and then when they don't understand, they could talk to it, and they're infinitely patient. They never get angry at you, right? They whenever you want to code, maybe you have a day job, you want to do the coding, when people are asleep, right? So they're there. These agents are there to be your tutor and help you whenever you need it, whenever you want it. So they actually learn how to code, even though they have never in their wildest imagination could imagine. I'm a business executive. I've never written code. I never even have any background in computer science whatsoever. But now I'm learning it. So that's the type of thing that would basically said that this is not going to be the case that there will be no software engineer. In fact, there's more people will be software engineers. But software engineering will be very, very different. Now, software engineering is no longer just going to be primarily writing code. I think actually I find that to be a little bit of also kind of a misunderstanding of the software engineer's role also. I think that's because that's the most visible kind of difference in the work that they do, right? Is that they know how to write code and we don't know how to write code and so on. And that's the difference, right? But in fact, I think there's a lot of tasks that software engineers have to do that doesn't involve writing code. You still need to manage a team of software engineers, right? You need to motivate them towards a goal. You need to, communicate, your features and constraints to your customers. All this, there's lots of things that I would say software engineers have to do, and those probably are still going to be the same kind of problem, right? Even though you have someone to help you write the code. In fact, I would say that these coding agents allow truly professional engineer to be better engineer because now they can actually focus on understanding the customer's problem, their challenge, their constraint, right? Sometimes we understand the problem. I think that's the very, very basic, right? Understanding customer problems. So you built the tool, the software to solve the problem, right? That's the very, very basic. But do you know what their constraints are? Do you know what their, all their user base, how they like to use the software, how they, so they're, every time a problem is kind of stated, right? There's always, I would say, hundreds of different ways to solve it, right? Eventually, software engineer, will eliminate a lot of the possibilities and hone in on one or two and maybe test them and then eventually fine tune it to pick the one, right? To kind of release, right? So so I think a lot of those you can actually do that much more effectively, with the help of these coding agents, because now you don't have to spend time on the coding part, right? The coding part can be done. You can actually spend the time to understand your customer's problem, understand their constraint, understand their needs and their wants, right? Yeah.
It's kind of ironic, actually, now that I think of it. It's kind of like software engineers become outcomes based, right? Which is not what we ordinarily see them as.
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of things would be very outcome based, outcome driven now that you have these tools, right? Because I think software engineer is actually not too different from any creative profession, right? Whether you are creating a piece of art or music or a piece of writing or something, a movie. So in these creative professions, a lot of time was spent in the creative process, right? Because they need skill, they need, in the back in the day, it's painters who have to, use the paintbrush with paint, right? To every stroke that they have to, paint on the canvas, right? They have to do that. I think nowadays it's more like a lot of it was, augmented by digital tools, right? With Photoshop and everything like that, right? So, but you still need time to perform those creative tasks. It's the creation of their final product, right? Yeah. So, but now with generative AI and also agentic AI, you can actually, supercharge that. So the creative process, the actual making of the actual kind of writing the code, the creation of the piece of art, the writing, the music, right? That one can be done very, very quickly. But there's a lot more, I would say, value would be put into, people thinking about, what this piece of art is supposed to convey. Is that, does it appeal to the audience that you want to appeal to? Does it, everything would be much, much more outcome based, because you have the resource and the time to focus on those outcomes a lot more, right? Yeah.
Let's do this is kind of a thing. I think it just happened this week, or was it last week? There was some, I guess it's some kind of an executive order that Trump put out there around limiting the kind of regulations that could be put out at the state level. So that, I guess, things that happen at the federal level will always take precedence. Always trying to make sure I say that right. So what do you think the impact of something like that is going to be? Is that something that'll be a net positive for, as you put it, like the AI arms race for the country to continue to have a leadership position as this all gets built out? Or do you see some drawbacks to any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, so so it's as with most of these type of, I would say, legislation, right? There's always two sides of the story, right? I think there's some benefit and there's always also some drawback, right? So the key is understanding what, right? So what's what? So I think that the benefit is that, like, you have a simpler regulatory framework, right? And that allows startups, innovators to come into this field and create innovation much faster, right? I think that's basically, I would say that, the why European countries are a little bit behind in their innovative process is because every country have a different kind of set of law, right? You have to, and to make everything, to make an innovation actually work in all those different countries, you basically, need to go through so many regulatory hurdles that you just burn all your resources. You have no time, no resources left to actually creative energy to do the innovation anymore, right? So I think having at the federal level would enable, I would say, innovation to happen much faster. I think that is I think it's a good thing. I think there is a good thing, But what's the downside? The downside, of course, is that, like, every state, had different resources, infrastructures, right? And those, if you are going to build an AI data center next to in my town next to me, right, then you're going to draw a lot more energy or natural resources, whatever, for cooling that I may be very concerned about, where you living, like, hundreds of thousands of miles away may not care, right? So that's the type of thing, right? I think that I think that there's always two sides to these things. I think there are some positive point in the sense of the AI arms race. I think that would be beneficial. I think that would be very beneficial, right? Because it would essentially enable startups from every state, anyone could innovate, right? Because look at it, like, I think previously, right, when you talk about, these innovations, right, I would say people, of course, building the foundational frontiers model, right, they are going to be, the well-funded big techs, right? But the applications of these technology, right, can be basically, it could be in everybody's hand, right? You could be in farming, could be in, anywhere, in any, so I think if you put this technology in everybody's hand, right, and innovation can be created by anyone, then I think there is a huge benefit, to these type of federal level regulation.
Awesome. All right. So this is the last, we'll see you this year. So we gotta get to your prediction when it comes to AI. What do you think? Well, what do you hope to see? But what do you think we'll see that's going to make some sort of an impact next year?
Well, so I would like to see the development of these agent communication protocol to progress faster, right, and reach a standard faster. right? I think communication standards in these AI, right? So MCP being the most popular one, created by Anthropic, right? It's probably the most popular right now, but there's many other, of such communication protocols among these AI agents, right? I think A2A from Google, right? All these other ones. So a lot of people have said that 2025 is the year of agents, and next year we basically move into this phase where we can use AI to do research and innovate and find new knowledges and new insights and new science, right? That enable these technology to compound, right? So unfortunately, I think that then I think that the progress of this agentic kind of AI has been a little slower than what most people wanted. I think partly is because there's no sort of standards of these communication protocol, right? And I think that yeah, when you have AI, right, not able to talk to other AI, right, or to take other actions, who could take other action that you cannot take, right, you limit it to what you can do, right? So I think this is very crucial, right, for the industry to kind of come to this standard, right? Come to a standard, right? And there's a lot of work need to be done, right? I think today the basic communication protocol do exist, right? There is MCP. A lot of companies are building it, right? Everyone that I talk to is building it. So, but you're building it for yourself. You're building it for your MCP server to support your agents, to know what tools within your platform that they are allowed to use in what circumstance and so on, right? But what about other tools, right? There are things that you, for example, you may have an agent that could help people book a hotel or a flight, right? But can you also transact? Can you take payments? I think today not many of these agent communication protocols are able to take payment, right? So and down the line, I would say that probably there will be if tens or if not hundreds, agents that probably would perform the same thing. There probably would be 20 or 50 agents to help you book hotels or airlines flights, right? So how do you know which one to use, right? So there had to be some kind of I would say, a reputation engine of some sort, right? Kind of like how do people rate a particular agent? What was their experience? What's their turnaround time? Or what's actually required to execute, to get this agent to help me do a certain task, right? So that's also something that need to be surfaced when you're actually communicating with an agent, right? When I have an agent and I need some help, like for example, like I want to make some payment, right? Who can help me make payment? And all these other agents out there raise their hands. I can help you, right? But how do you know which one to pick, right? So, and this one agent there has to be a mechanism for my agents to go out there and see, okay, well, these ones are, people are rated them, not so good, so I'm not going to deal with it. These 10 people rated them highly, but then, this one has turnaround time of a week. That's too long for me. This one has turnaround time that's a day really fast, but they cost tremendously, right? So how do I make decision, right? So your agents who knows your kind of operating constraint were able to pick the best, agents to collaborate with to help you make payments, right? To book whatever that you want to book.
Perfect.
Well, you'll be able to use. Hopefully, we want to book your stay in Atlanta when you come here in March and talk about. I'm not going to say what exactly you're talking about. All I'm going to say is I can't wait to hear what AI and lunatics have in common. But we will find out.
We'll have to do with each other. That way to put it.
Yes. So
yeah, it will be something fun. I think we could give away the title, can we?
You want? Yeah. I thought I teased it out, but the title, and this is really going to be. I'm trying to pull up. All right. Title is "What Can We Learn from Lunatics in the Age of AI?"
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Turns out there's a lot we can learn from lunatics.
Yeah, and some of it might be good. No,
Stay zipped on this one. Keep the lid on for this.
Yeah,
Oh.
let's keep the lid on that one.
nice.
Yeah,
All right.
you'll find out by joining us in March.
I can't wait.
He's even doing pitches for us. This is
That's
great.
awesome. It works for me, man.
All right. First of all, Michael, you and Margie have a great holiday season.
Yes.
We look forward to having more taking the lid off segments, but we also definitely look forward to seeing you in March here in Atlanta.
You're the best, man. And give Margie a big hug.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
Man, that was
Always.
great. We even got him doing pitches for us.
I know, that was pretty amazing. I'm really looking forward to what he's got to say. I was talking to somebody from Pros the other day, and they told me that his speech at Outperform on AI that he gave, and he always gives really good ones. They said this might have been one of the best speeches they've ever heard on AI, bar none, anywhere in any place.
You know what I was hoping you would say?
What?
I thought you were going to say his speech at Outperform, it actually outperformed.
No, I didn't want to say
that. Would have been really good.
Not really.
Just all right. But you know what's got to be really good? This is like a once in a time introduction that you need to give, since we have literally been hoping to have this young gentleman on for years. So here's your shot to give him, because you've never done an intro for him before.
No.
But you have a time limit. You have to have a little bit of a time limit.
What, a month?
So we can actually hear him and see him on screen with it. So
I'll keep it pretty short.
So let me do this. Let me do the official.
All right.
Let me turn things over for the official introduction to our guest, to the venerable Paul Greenberg.
All right. This one, let's put it this way. We have really, Brent wasn't kidding. We have tried for years to have this person on our show. I would say it was the most, from our standpoint, the invite we most coveted having the guest. And this gentleman has been working at, we'll give the company, at Oracle for half of Brent's life.
Wow. Okay.
And he has done an extraordinary job. And we know the job he's done. He's taken their business applications and built them into almost empire level quality business applications. I mean, he's done the things that as a customer facing, on the customer facing ones, which are the ones that, of course, I know best, world class. The stuff on the back end, the ones I do know of, like supply chain, world class. Yet, I will tell you this gentleman, it remains a bit of a mystery to both me and Brent. Because look, we have seen him for, I'd say, I don't know, aside from occasional, how you doing? 20 minutes every time we go to an Oracle conference, along with another, I don't know, 20 to 50 analysts, depending on the environment we're in.
I'll just join you and say, I actually enjoy his gaggles probably more than any other gaggles.
Oh, they're fun, because this guy, the other side of this gentleman is he's a really, really nice person, like really nice. And last but not least, before we bring him on, he actually knew what Mystery Science Theater 3000 was. So let's bring on the man we've done plenty of watch parties about, but never had in person, Steve Miranda.
It's really him. It's really him too.
Yeah, well,
touch the screen right now.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. I mean, hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that intro, I apologize for disappointing everybody for the number one. Number two, thank you for that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say, as you know, Paul, thanks for the kind words, but we have an incredible team that's done what you said with the application. So thank you for that. Not me. I was around for it, but. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, I think it's way more than half of Brent's life. So,
well, that's just being complimentary.
We'll just leave it.
Take my word for it. It's not.
Oh, by the way, Steve, guess what? Since we're on kind of age stuff, guess who has a birthday tomorrow?
Oh.
It's somebody on this screen right now. And it's not you or me.
Oh, yeah.
It is Godfather's birthday today.
The sad part is it's way less than half my life.
Well, happy birthday early.
Thank you.
Bye.
76.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, I made it.
I feel like saying trombones after you said 76. But
So first and foremost, just tell us how the hell you got to Oracle. I mean, it's like a little bit of your history, because we don't know it really.
Yeah. So okay. So thanks for having me. I was at Stanford in '92, or left Stanford in '91. Which, if those of you who are old Oracle historians know, that wasn't exactly the best year for Oracle. So I initially planned to work there as a class of, but there were no class ofs that year. I'm sure it's on the wiki page or whatever, the Oracle history in 1991. So I went to a company called GE Aerospace, which is not the GE Aerospace that is today. It was more building software for what used to be the Blue Cube at Moffett Field and things like that, secret satellite systems, and most of which, at least I think the software, maybe even the satellites, don't exist anymore. But then was there for a year. Then the year after that, wanted to do applications, wanted to do Oracle for a lot of different reasons, and started there. So I just started as a engineer in financial applications, kind of writing code. Not that.
So
Wow.
how'd you get to where you are? I mean, you got to realize. I know. Look, we actually know a bunch of your team, obviously, and we think the world of them. They're brilliant, but at the same time, you lead the team, and you've had a huge impact at the company as a whole beyond just your immediate space. I mean, you went from coding to that. How?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of a right place at the right time, Paul. I mean, if you look back at what the company size was then and what the industry was then and the transformation, it was, I mean, maybe very much like what's happening today. It was really growing at incredible rates. And what we were doing with the applications were changing at incredible rates. I mean, we went through a couple different eras of the apps in my first few years there. And so as that started to happen, there was opportunities that took place. And then I had, some great mentors. I think some of which you've had on this show, maybe, or you certainly, my last few bosses from Ron Wall, who led the applications back then, to John Wookie was my boss after Ron, to Thomas Kurian, who's now, obviously CEO of Google Cloud, and now to Larry. So, right place at a right time with a growing industry, a great team, and then some great, mentors and leaders who kind of led the way.
Let's talk a little bit about, everybody knows Oracle for databases, of course, and it's still very foundational.
And apps, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting to. When did it start to feel like, wow, apps they're just as known now, or really feeling like it's become not just a database company, but now it's an enterprise applications company, and it's being noticed like that. When did that happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously us in the apps division thought that for quite a while. No disrespect to the database, but we're like, okay, here's where the apps is at. But I pretty clearly remember. I don't know the timeline, but it was probably when Safra and Larry really were highlighting Fusion and the cloud applications on the earnings call. And I think Larry read off like 100 wins, or a lot of like reference customers, and it became very clear at that point, we had arrived in the public persona along with the database. So I think even though, we've had a fair amount of success in apps for a long time, even on-premise apps, if we weren't number one, we were, I think unquestionably number one or number two in the world, which is not too bad. But when you're at Oracle and you compare it to the Oracle database, it's a imposing shadow there that's there. But yeah, when the cloud came out, it really were, we had our moment in the sun, and it's great. I mean, we're all pulling together for Oracle.
Well, I mean, to your point too, I think there are probably Oracle and maybe Microsoft are the only two companies I know who can kind of understand the idea of the end-to-end ecosystem. And you can't, look, I think Oracle is a little more substantial, but in Microsoft, for example, the applications business is a tiny part of their business. But like you guys, you do know, both companies know, you can't have an end-to-end ecosystem without them, right? And in your case, you're doing very well with them, and in fact, among the more visionary companies that are actually executing on it. But at the same time, even if you were losing money on it, so to speak, which I know you're not, but even if you were, it would still be necessary, right? Because of ecosystem and platform, right? That's why.
Yeah, it's ecosystem, it's platform, and I think the other part that we try to emphasize, and certainly Larry tries to emphasize, is we really try to make each other better, right? Because we intentionally consume our own pieces. So, anything I say about the applications, we build and run on not just the database, but OCI and our technology
Yeah.
stack, and now the AI that's provided. Now, our enterprise apps are, a fairly extreme test case for any of our underlying tools. I mean, there's very few external companies or ISV who would want to build something at the scale of Fusion applications. But if our tools can support us, we're very confident our tools can support all those other use cases, and vice versa, right? We use our products internally to run the apps, to run the company. And so that's we are I don't know what we are now, a Fortune X company with multiple different industries. That's a stress case on our applications with every country in the world represented, et cetera. So it's very intentional with the strategy.
Well, I mean, I guess, from that standpoint, that's why I said you were visionary, because one of the things that I obviously know, and Brent, I think too, we know the customer facing side much better, the CX side, right?
Yeah.
Than the back end. Although, I know something of the back end too, because, I used to talk to guys like Chris and others, on the HR side back in the day. But one of the things I noticed you did with, for example, marketing and sales fusion, which I just love, and I really love it, and I've talked about it a million times, is that you've actually understood the actual need for marketing and sales to basically be in communication with each other all the time, the integration of the two. And and you were there was some companies that played with that idea, but you guys were the first to actually do it, right? And do it in a way that actually was meaningful and helpful, so that companies could realize that, sales and marketing need to align even with the different cadences. You built that into the applications to handle, and it was really, to me, it was a key moment. And the other thing you did many, many years ago, and I wrote about this probably 15 years ago, you were the first company that I noticed, again, on the CRM side, to produce a CRM application that was for the salespeople as opposed to the manager. You actually, I remember, it was a very simple thing you did, a quoting system. You had a quoting system. I remember these really well because they were notable. And Oracle, at least again on the CX app side, which is what I can speak to safely, has always been extraordinarily visionary and understood execution there. So can you elaborate on the broaden the idea, of course, but take it on the vision side, because that's really almost unique.
I mean, you're doing such a good job promoting. I'm going to do a promo for your March event. I'm not sure the dates, but you guys give me the little
You better
script.
be there then. If you're going to do the promo, you better be there.
I'll check that.
No,
I think you. I mean, you've hit it in a couple different ways. I mean, first of all, we had extremely strong team members who had, who are experts in their space and visionaries. Including Mr. Ellison, who's, I think has been his pet peeve, if you will, on the CX front entirely. So that's part one. Part two, then there were dynamics of the competitive space where there were other competitors who were doing very well at sales management type thing. Not to say that's all they did, but they did that. And but I think then the part you said, understanding the enterprise, and really it was interesting on your previous interview when you said measuring developers by outcomes. I would like to think we've always tried to do that by the outcomes. And when you really dove into it, in our view, in the CX space, and I see it every day implemented internally, not only is it important that there's marketing communicates with sales, but it's shocking to me how in many organizations where you get in there and it's not this smooth handoff that you think you would see. It's marketing's tasked with producing leads and sales tasks with selling. And it from an enterprise perspective, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, what you're all trying to do is, service your customers better, sell your products better, go forward. And marketing should be a natural lead in. And so that combination of factors that the visionaries we've had and that taking that enterprise view, I think has led us to that. Whereas if you don't have an enterprise view and your customer is the salesperson or the sales, and probably your customer is a sales manager in that case, because that's who decides to buy the software or not.
Right.
Well, that's what you're going to build. And if your customer is the marketing person and they're measured based on generating leads, regardless of those leads pay off, well, that's what you're going to build. And so I think it's that combination of the visionaries and our approach that sort of led us to those type of conclusions. And by the way, I could say the same thing with finance and HR, right? Again, when you try to service a certain constituency, you tend to focus on their problem. But when you see the enterprise view, I mean, probably one of the, if not the thing that's been consistent with us throughout the e-business suite and move in the cloud and different technologies has been, we've always felt end-to-end complete suite, or at least as complete as we can build. And for that very reason. So that's kind of the general thought process, is always trying to solve, what is the broad customer business problem, not necessarily the focus of the individual constituent who are also our customers, but at a certain level.
I know we've had a couple of shows lately around the whole topic of what is CRM in 2026, and thinking back to I think it was when you bought Right Now. That was kind of like the foundational move to where you are today, and all the different acquisitions. You guys made a ton of acquisitions, like within a span of 2 years, that brought a lot of that kind of those perspectives and that kind of data into the mix. And now when you're looking at what's going on with all the kind of, I don't want to say hype, but the agentic focus that everybody is on. And what I think in our buddy Michael Wu even talked about, a lot of folks are really hoping this is the era that we actually get to outcomes as opposed to focusing on the individual applications, and being able to use agents, not just from like one company, but the kind of, I don't want to say Lord of the Rings or Lord of the Agents, where you have one agent to rule them all or something like that. But a lot of people are hoping that there's going to be some good partnerships and integrations that allow them to actually focus on the outcome and not specific applications to hopefully get to that outcome. How do we make sure we get there this time? Because it feels like we've had opportunities, because I think at the enterprise level, most do not have just one vendor. They do have a number of vendors that they work through to try to get the outcomes they want, but they haven't really gotten the outcomes they want. And it feels like this focus on agentic and agents, there's another opportunity to have that happen. What do we need to do to get there?
So let me see if this answers your question. This is the way I look at it. So for years, although we try to build a suite, clearly the vast majority of our customers use multiple different systems. And so they always ask the integration question. And I'd be careful to talk to a customer. To me, an integration often gets thought of as a technical problem. It's usually not a technical problem. It's usually a workflow. Like, I can give you a bunch of ETL systems technology that Oracle sells or other sells that will connect Salesforce to Oracle or Salesforce to SAP or whatever combination, and people have done it. So technically, it's a workflow and it's a data problem. And I think what's different this time, and it, as the name would imply, agentic apps, like, it is an agentic application with some form of workflow, or that name will get renamed, and some form of not an agent that rules them all, but sort of the agent that's governing these workflows. So I think from the start of the problem, what the technology has lent itself is to a better part of the solution. Whereas in the past, the focus of the problem has been on ETL tools or integration technology. It's been on data formatting back and forth, but it didn't talk about the workflows or the data part. That's part one. The second part I would say is, if you look at a lot of people are getting success in AI today, it's things like natural language into queries. So now you can just talk to your system or give it, you don't need to run a report, you need to run a query. You can just, just like Google or just like ChatGPT, you're doing natural language to a select process. Well, what you find then is very quickly, the most interesting questions you can ask really span these domains. Because once you start putting English language and I can get my first level data, you get very interesting questions that span. And that's where the pressure is on integrating the data part. So I think both pieces that I've traditionally felt that people don't focus on in integrations, the workflow and the data, it's much more in front and center in terms of where the technology is going to problem. So that's, if there's hope, I think it's going to be better. And I don't think it's, I think Dr. Wu said it correctly in preceding me, MCP is a leading standard that will evolve. There's AI standards. I don't ever think it's been about companies not wanting to share or agree on technical standards. I just think that it's been lacking in terms of the comprehensiveness of that particular problem.
So I know we only have a few minutes left, so I'm gonna take this totally other direction. Right? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of hobbies. I play golf. You guys mentioned chess on the earlier one. I'm addicted to certain, after COVID, I'm now addicted to certain chess channels on YouTube. I guess you could call me a chess hobbyist, but I'm not good enough to, well, I'm not good
Do you
enough
have
at
like
golf
a
either.
rating? Do you have like a chess rating?
Oh, no, but it's like in the 1200 range. I mean, it's terrible.
That's not that bad. I'm not a chess player, but I know the ratings a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. You know, I play golf. I used to play, ironically, with AI now, I used to play poker as a hobby. I think I probably still a hobby. I was way better than I am now, just because the kids these days are pretty pretty analytical. And
what's the most you've ever won in a contest?
At a poker tournament?
Yeah.
I did. I cashed 2 reasonable checks at the World Series of Poker, and the one I think it was a profit of 30,000. The other one was a profit of
Jesus Christ, you were good.
No, I'm not good
The
anymore.
minute you said at a poker tournament, I knew you were better than just a poker player. Right?
Yeah, I'm not good anymore, I would say. No, it's advanced. It's advanced. Yeah.
Can you play Claude or something for a while and see if you can beat him? I don't know. Play some chess AI for a while and get. I mean,
no.
poker AI.
Let's do a rapid round. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Apollo 13.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah, I like that one.
You can relate Apollo 13 to, there's a scene, everything that happens in my job, there's a scene I could look at Apollo 13 and say, that's what's happening.
Okay. Favorite sitcom?
Ooh, favorite sitcom. Seinfeld, I guess.
Good.
Favorite rock group or music group ever?
Oh,
music. Let's say music.
Yeah.
You can pick 2 or 3 in this case.
Yeah. Elton John, Billy Joel, that kind of style. Probably a bunch of that.
80s.
Range. Yeah. I'm embarrassed. My Spotify age, in their year-end wrap-up was way older than Brent.
Sadly, mine's exactly my age.
All right, here, Paul. Here's one. Favorite NFL football team?
Oh yeah, you're being tricked here.
This is tough for me because NFL is my least passionate, not sport, but team. I'm sadly I'm going to have to go with the Raiders if you force me to pick a team.
That is sad, but I'm the Giants fan.
Well, it's sad right now, but
I
mean, you're probably one of the few teams we might beat.
Yeah,
I think we're playing.
I grew up in LA when they were down there, and then I moved up to Northern California when they were up here, and then so
are you going to move to Vegas soon, or is that?
Yeah, no, not planned, not planned. So
wait, then finally though, which team are you the most, or which sport and team are you the most passionate about?
The Lakers for sure. No, not even a close. If you grew up in Southern California when I grew up, and
who's your favorite Laker?
Kareem. Yeah.
All the Lakers ever. I was Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Kareem. Yeah, those were my favorite Lakers. Although I'm a Knicks fan, diehard too.
Yeah,
diehard. So
well, you got a banner now.
Huh?
He said you got a banner.
Yeah, we do. That's not the one we want. So it was fun to watch, though. It's fun to watch that team because they're a team.
They are fun. Yes,
they're an actual team.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. It's an amazing thing. I was discussing with a friend. It's like, hey, how can you're rooting for laundry or whatever? But there's some teams that's definitely when Lakers are growing up that are they become part of the community. There's like a bond there, and that's what's
Well, you know what? I mean, we don't have time to get into it, but those 60s Lakers I was talking about with Baylor and West, they were actually, the team as a whole were really good. There was 3 other players.
Gail Goodrich on there?
Not that good, but Gail Goodrich. Well, he was on the latter part of the 60s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he was on the 72 team too.
Right. So he ran latter 60s into the 70s where, Baylor was kind of through he was on the way out by the
Yeah.
time the late 60s happened.
So I got to ask Steve just one last question.
Yeah, yeah.
Knowing that you said you grew up in LA, was there ever a thought of possibly being a Rams fan when you grew up?
Well, yeah, I guess there was. I mean, I got like photos as a kid when I'm wearing like Rams stuff, but not, because you have to remember they went to St. Louis too, so they were gone a good part of when I was really getting into sports.
Yeah.
So yeah. Plus the Raiders, I know this is hard for everybody to remember. They were good when they were.
Yeah, they were.
Hey, they won in 80 and 83. I remember that.
Exactly. So that's it's interesting. Your kind of prime formative years. What's it? Your favorite movies? The movie like when you're 13 years old or something.
Right.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, exactly.
I was Lawrence.
I was a little younger than that though. But...
I was Lawrence of Arabia, 1962.
Oh, that was way too long for me. But Steve, first of all, thank you for joining us. This has been awesome. We've learned more about you outside of Oracle in these 30 minutes than the last 15 years.
You guys keep promoting Oracle, and I'll keep on helping you guys out with whatever you need.
Well, if Oracle deserves it, you'll get
Very good.
We are analysts.
Just a shout out to the team. I mean, glad we got the chat, but again, this is really recognition of the team. They are.
Well, you have a great team. There's no question about it. You also, by the way, to the credit of Oracle, your company has changed over the years so that I personally, look, in the 90s, I couldn't stand Oracle. Now I love Oracle, right? I love working with, I'm retired from all that now, but I really enjoyed working with the people. I love the people I knew. I've known many for many years. You got creative minds like Kim, who's like, she, by the way, she's superstar, that one.
To this day, she came up with the craziest but funnest idea we've ever had.
You might not know about it.
She actually came up with a rap battle between Steve Fioretti at the time and Jeff. What's Jeff's last name?
Workout.
They literally were.
Is that recorded somewhere?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Brent was DJing it, and he mercy killed it.
Yeah, I had to kill
my
it.
entire contribution
going too well.
to it is I'm laughing hysterically the whole time. That's all.
All right. I'll have to get that video. Then.
We'll dig out the link and send it to you.
Talk to Kim; she'll know where to get it.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Steve, thanks again. Have a great holiday season.
You too. Hey, have a great holiday and happy birthday, Paul. Okay.
And hopefully we'll see you at IRL 2026.
Okay, we'll see. I got to check the calendar. I don't know when it is, but I'll check.
March 11th and 12th.
March 11th. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
That was fun, man. That was great.
Awesome. It's absolutely worth the wait.
It really was a nice way to end the year.
Yes, it was.
By the way, it's your birthday, but somebody sent me. Let me see if you can see this.
I can't.
There it is.
Wait.
It's a Rams glass.
That's nice.
With my name on it. Somebody sent that. I have no idea who sent that to me.
Really?
Whoever sent this is one of the nicest things I've gotten as like Rams thing. Like my own name on my Rams glass. Come on,
I know.
That's like
and you have no idea.
Somebody, please. Yeah, it's sort of like. Remember, you said you got the thing I sent.
Yeah, that was you, as it turned out, right?
Yeah, but so you didn't send this?
No, I did not.
Well, whoever sent it, please let yourself be known. I'd love to thank you because, maybe if Steve Miranda had gotten one of these when he was, a little kid, he might still be a Rams fan. But
that's
Guess who's still hanging around with us? Hey, he's still there.
I actually have to go though because I have to go meet Yvonne for dinner.
Yeah. We just want to say thank you, and once again, we appreciate you being here, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing what lunatics and AI.
Is anyone else in the green room, by the way?
Actually, no. Everybody else is
okay. The reason because I want to say something before I hang. I was very important that Steve Miranda heard you, Michael. I want to say that, and he did. He listened, so that was good. We talk another time about it, but it was important. All right, guys.
And on that note,
guys, I will see you.
Hold up. We just. On behalf of Michael Wu, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and we are out, and see you next year, 2026. Wow. Bye,
yes, Minnie. And I'm having dinner with my wife.
Yes.
And perfect. Minnie, you can come.
See you.
Come along, Minnie.